They feel deep down that maybe, just maybe, they're not good enough. That quiet voice that says, who am I to be trying this? Or what if I fail again? Even the highest performers, even the most confident CEOs, even the coaches and creators that you see having millions of views, they all have fears. And that's where faith comes in. Faith can be a decision, but then it's a decision that you've got to put action into. The solution is you have to install beliefs before you can have proof. You're not going to have proof. You're not going to get solidified validation until you actually instill the belief. And you have to condition your mind. And you've got to condition your mind before the world is actually going to give you those results that you want. Faith is not something that you have or don't have. It's something you create through repetition, emotion, and vision. And that's the difference between staying stuck and moving forward, between trying and committed, between doubting and declaring what you're planning to do. Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. I'm your host. We're on a journey. We've got 13 principles inside Think and Grow Rich that I'm breaking down each day, and we're on day 3. And day 3 is all about faith. It's the foundation of belief. So let's talk about something most entrepreneurs don't want to admit out loud. What do you think that is? They feel deep down that maybe, just maybe, they're not good enough. That quiet voice that says, who am I to be trying this? Or what if I fail again? Or what are people going to think? Look, I don't care who you are, and I've worked with the biggest names in the industry. Everyone feels that. You've heard people like Tony Robbins and Ed Milet say things like that. Now, they don't think of it as much anymore because of something that they've done. They've applied faith and to their actions. Even the highest performers, even the most confident CEOs, even the coaches and creators that you see having millions of views, they all have fears. And that's where faith comes in. Not the kind tied to religion, not the kind that you would normally think of, but the kind that Napoleon Hill describes as the head chemist of the mind. The belief in yourself, in your vision, in the unseen process of creating success. So in Think and Grow Rich, Hill says, faith is the basis of all miracles and all mysteries which cannot be analyzed by the rules of science. Let me read that again for you. Faith is the basis of all miracles and all mysteries which cannot be analyzed by the rules of science. But he doesn't just talk about blind belief. That's not what we're talking about here. He talks about belief created through action, and more specifically through autosuggestion and repetition. I hope you catch that. According to Hill, inside this principle, Think and Grow Rich. And remember, these principles are ones you might have heard before, but I'm asking you to dig deep and really understand them. So Hill says, faith is a state of mind that may be induced by affirmations, visualization, and repeated emotional experience. So think about that. I want to digress for just a minute, but think about it in the sense of religion. Affirmations, visualization, repeated emotional experiences create faith. That's what Hill's talking about. But in your life, in your business, in your mind, faith is that state of mind that's going to be induced by affirmations, visualization, and repeated emotional experiences, which are requiring you to have some behavior, right? Modern neuroscience backs all this up. Think about it. Dr. Joe Dispenza. He teaches that your thoughts, when repeated and felt emotionally, literally rewire your brain chemistry. This is science. This is science. Mel Robbins says confidence is something that isn't what she says. Confidence isn't something that you have. It's something that you build by doing scary things and proving to yourself you can handle it. Tony Robbins reminds us that beliefs are just repeated thoughts. Ed Milet talks about the fact that confidence and belief and faith is something that you can create and decide. So if you want to build unshakable faith, and let's talk about it in real terms here. If you want to build unshakable faith in yourself, in your abilities, you don't need more evidence. You need better programming. Does that make sense? You don't need more evidence. You need better programming. So I talk a lot about the fact that faith is a decision. And I give that analogy of mountain climbing or rock climbing. And so whether you're a mountain climber or rock climber is not really relevant. Think about the fact of these experts that climb these huge mountains, and there's many times that they have people climbing with them, right? And their climbing partner will tell them where there's a ledge they can put their hand on or where they can reach over and put their foot. And a lot of times it takes faith, because whether or not you believe that something is there to support you doesn't change the fact that it's there. So whether or not you believe something is actually going to happen for you, it doesn't change the fact that it can happen. So faith can be a decision, but then it's a decision that you've got to put action into. So let's break this down for everybody, no matter where you are right now. Maybe you're launching a new offer, but you're afraid nobody's going to buy it. Or maybe you're scaling your business because you've been really killing it, but you fear losing it at some point. Like you have this imposter syndrome. Or maybe you're just afraid. And it's funny, I want to go back to that. I heard Tony Robbins say the other day, imposter syndrome is just it's a big farce. It's a big lie. It's fear. Let's be honest. It's just fear of you losing something that you have or looking bad. So whether you're starting out or you're building and scaling and afraid you're not there, or maybe you're just afraid to finally commit to what you really want, the solution is you have to install beliefs before you can have proof. You're not going to have proof. You're not going to get solidified validation until you actually instill the belief. And you have to condition your mind. And you've got to condition your mind before the world is actually going to give you those results that you want. And Napoleon Hill talks about combining faith and autosuggestion by basically doing this. Create a written statement. We talked about it yesterday with desire. Create a written statement of your definite purpose. Read it aloud every single day with emotion. Let me double down on that. Read your affirmation aloud with emotion, and then visualize yourself already in possession of the results. Remember, we're trying to program your subconscious mind by creating desire and a focused, definite chief aim, and then adding this principle of faith that you can train yourself to do. And here's what happens when you do this. When you do the statement and you read it and you visualize yourself, you're bringing on this amazing partner, your subconscious mind, and you start to override fear, and you start to build confidence through this repetition, and you start showing up differently. Your energy, your decisions, your actions, everything kind of changes because your belief starts to transmit power. And I've seen this in my life long before the money comes up, or long before the results happen. And bottom line, here's this. This is what I want you to do today. This is your sort of faith building challenge. Write a 2 to 3 sentence affirmation. If you haven't already done that yesterday, do another one. But write a 2 to 3 sentence affirmation that expresses your biggest business goal in the present tense, emotionally charged. I'm confidently enrolling high-level clients into my signature program that's over $100,000 a month in income for me, delivering massive value with purpose and passion, or something like that. And then you've got to start reading it. This is a different application of desire we talked about yesterday, but it's the same action I want you to do. I want you to write down 2 or 3 sentences. I want you to read it out loud. And when fear shows up during the day, just read it again and just tell yourself, this is proof that I'm stepping into out of my comfort zone, into the area that I am struggling with, and then move forward anyway. Remember, you're not brainwashing yourself, but you are rewiring the way your mind works. We're trying to engage that subconscious mind to be one of your biggest partners. So here's the big takeaway. Faith is not something that you have or don't have. It's something you create through repetition, emotion, and vision. And that's the difference between staying stuck and moving forward, between trying and committed, between doubting and declaring what you're planning to do. Faith is that eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. And you can borrow belief from this episode today. Just the fact that we're talking, just the fact that you're part of the mastermind. But starting today, you've got to instill it in yourself. You've got to instill these practices. So do me a favor and please take a few minutes and think about this episode. Think about what it means to you in your life. Visualize where it's going to put you. And then let's keep going. I'll plan on seeing you tomorrow on day 4 and look forward to it. So please do me a favor and share this episode. It'd mean the world to me, and I'd love to hear from you. So hit me up on the Daily Mastermind, tag me in your post, and I'll look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. Have a great day.